Welcome back to another edition of Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk. For today's special guest, we have the head coach and athletic coordinator over at Southwest High School in Fort Worth, Texas. My old football coach, someone who's very special to me, Coach Franklin. Welcome to Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk.
Man, thank you for having me, Kellen. Man, I'm very thrilled to be a guest. I remember when you guys started this a few years back, and I said, man, I got to find a way to make it on Diamond in the Rough.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought these young brothers was really doing something special, man. And I'm just proud of you, man, being able to continue to be involved in a sport, but at the same time, using it as a vehicle to continue to be successful, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We appreciate that, Coach. Yes, sir. So, Coach, as a lot of coaches are, you are formerly a football player yourself. Could you tell us a little bit about your career, some of the highlights of your career, and what did you most learn from the game of football that you were able to incorporate into coaching the game of football?
Well, man, I'll just tell you briefly. I mean, I'm from New Orleans. I was born and raised there, and I started playing football at 9 years old at Milne Playground. That's part of the New Orleans Recreation Department. And man, my dad was really my first coach. He was a coach on staff. He brought me out, told me if I had good grades, I could play. All my friends was playing for Pontchartrain Park, so I grew up in Gentilly Woods. So what's funny is I used to go to school with my friends, and then during the season had to play against them. But I mean, from there, man, just learn the basics, from Coach Harry, Coach Gene, Coach Wayne, all those guys, the fundamentals. Didn't play junior high balls. I went to Beauregard Middle School on Canal Boulevard, but I did play at Milne during the 7th, 8th grade. And then, I went to McDonald 35 when the building was on Kellerick Street. And two things from there, man, that I learned. Number one, we went 0-10 as a freshman. I played on varsity with a couple other guys that were freshmen because we ain't had no JV on no freshman team.
Right.
But 4 years later, we wound up winning the district championship, and that was first time in a long time at McDonald 35 that had happened. And Coach Emmett Smith was our head coach. So that taught me a lesson of, man, perseverance. Going from 0-10 as a freshman to winning 7 in a row and winning the district championship as a senior, that just kind of taught me about being able to build things. As long as you got quality coaches and kids that believe and kids that can play. We had an NFL guy on that team, Talman Gardner. We had some other Division I guys who played, younger guys. But that high school experience was good for me. And it just taught me, man, that you can build things within a program. You just kind of take what you have and make what you want when you have quality coaches and when you have talented kids.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, you did go to Langston for your college career. Tell us a little bit about Langston. You played safety there, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay, you played safety there. So tell us a little bit about that. What were some things that you enjoyed about going to Langston, and what were some factors that led you to choosing Langston as your college of choice?
Well, first of all, it was free. And I had seen my older sister. She had just graduated from Dillard, and in '92, and I just saw that my parents had to pay for her, help her with school. So I kind of vowed to myself that I didn't want my parents to have to pay for me to go to school. My mom and dad were separated and divorced at that time through my teenage years, but I did what I was supposed to do at McDonald 35 as a student athlete. And that was really the expectation from my household community to also being at that school. And I actually earned an academic and athletic scholarship to Langston University. I was a McCabe scholar, man. And I had to maintain a 3.5 GPA.
Absolutely. Student athlete.
Yeah, so yeah, I was just about every year I was also getting a little money back. Once I figured out the book situation, I ain't had to spend all my money on my books. Buying the used books instead of the new ones.
Right.
And I was able to do that. So Hold on for a second, Kelly.
Oh yeah, it's good, coach.
Hold on. About that. I'm sorry about that, Kelly.
Good, coach.
But I'll share with you this, man. You know, people talk about your experience is your experience. You know, God has a path for you. Man, as a freshman, I wound up having to play about week 4 or 5, right, at safety. Now, mentally, I was ready for it because I had a good high school coach in Arenas Clark at McDonald 35. I knew how to make checks. You know, I could line up everybody on our defense in high school. And then in college, you know, my coaches saw that I had that. But physically, I wasn't ready, man. I was still like 155 pounds.
Gotcha.
playing college football. I don't care what level it is, you know.
Right.
And we actually played against Arkansas Pine Bluff, man. I had like 10 tackles and 2 pass breakups. But the guy that was playing running back, he wound up getting a shot in the league, man. And man, at halftime, my back was swollen. You know, and it just taught me that, you know, weights are important.
Right.
And you know, even coming out of high school, even now, I mean, you know, this is years later. You know, the game has evolved so much. As you know, kids are a little more prepared to play as freshmen. But that helped me to get into the weight room, and that's why I was so big on you guys lifting weights, because I understood the confidence and the importance of it. But then playing at Langston, also, man, I met my wife there. She was from the south side of Chicago. You know, we knew each other pretty much all throughout school, and then towards my senior years when, you know, we kind of ignited our relationship. But man, my kids' godparents were 2 or 3 of my teammates. One of my cousins from New Orleans, he came up with it, man. He got his degree. We played together at Langston. Man, I have lifelong friends. I have a couple of coaches who are coaching college ball, being able to chop it up with them when I go to conventions. So, man, the experience was great for me, man. And being 12 hours away from New Orleans was a culture shock. I was homesick the first semester. Experienced my first snow. I mean, you have some Oklahoma experience, so I remember that.
Sir. Absolutely.
You know,
over
so
big cone. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So it was great for me, man. Life changing. But just an outstanding experience, both athletically, socially, and academically.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, over at HL, when you coached us, you had the brand name. And the brands were commitment, sacrifice, and effort. Coach, just talk to us a little bit about commitment, sacrifice, and effort, and what that means to you.
Well, I'll tell you this, Kelly. So that was my first head coaching job, right? All right. So, you know, man, I think I've been blessed with a few talents. One of them is evaluating kids. And then I thank the other, man, for just kind of being around some of the men in my family and some of the women, just kind of putting words together, right? So I came up with those 3 words because I figured if we could really be committed to getting better every day, every step, every rep, and committed to being teammates, we could do something special. I also believe in effort, you know, as far as just, you know, hard work, that extra effort that you need to be successful, rather if it's sports or anything, right? That drive and that determination. Obviously, you have some of it in you, man, to continue to build this program, you know, this platform that you're using. And then I just, you know, thought about the sacrifice aspect of it, that, man, it's the ultimate team game. So, you know, at some point you got to sacrifice your personal goal or your personal agenda and put it beneath the team.
Right.
Now, you know, it's kind of funny that you understood that brand, right?
Yes, sir.
So now I've kind of rearranged the words, and it is a brand that we have throughout our community in Fort Worth Southwest, and it's SEC, right? So most times when we break huddle, you know, I'll say, hey, man, give me 3. The kids will give me 3 quick claps, and they'll holler SEC. So we just rearranged the words, made it rhyme a little better.
Yes, sir.
Sound a little better. But if you were to come in contact or interact with any of the kids that I've coached at Fort Worth Southwest, they should be able to tell you what our core values are and what we believe in order to build our program.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Now, Coach, you mentioned you know, Southwest, the school that you're the head coaching at. Just talk to us a little about you guys over at Southwest. You know, you guys are, I'm sure y'all going to be entering the strength and conditioning program here pretty soon. Tell us some things that you guys are looking forward to in the fall, come fall time.
Well, it'll be my fourth season going in. We've been to the playoffs every year. We're in a city school, Fort Worth ISD. We're one of 13 other high schools. And for us, man, the challenge now is to try to win multiple playoff games. You know, we're 13-3 over the last 3 years versus everybody in our school district. So we feel like we're dominating the school district, right?
Absolutely.
But now we want to kind of extend that beyond just within Fort Worth ISD. And man, we have a lot of kids that have bought in to what we're trying to do. The challenge is depth because we're at a 5A school, Division 2 5A school. So sometimes, man, when we play some of those schools outside of our in an urban area, they have kids that don't have to play three ways.
Right.
And that's the challenge, man. So that has caused me to develop and evolve as a football coach and understand that most times we get practice done within an hour. I mean, within 100 minutes. And there are certain aspects where physicality doesn't always have to be the forefront of learning and teaching on the football field. So that's what we're looking to do. We feel good about it, man. I mean, obviously, I'm blessed. My son is playing with me. He just completed his 9th grade year. Old Miles, man. I remember he came to a few of the games and it was water boy. Yeah, so he's just finishing up 9th grade now, man, and he's gonna try to get some varsity reps this year. But even though he's my son, I coach him just like the other kids, and he's gonna have to earn it.
Right, absolutely. What position is he playing now, Coach?
Man, he's playing wide receiver, man. He's not
Nice.
No defensive guy, Kellen.
Okay.
And when he was playing, PB ball, I noticed that, man. He really wasn't a guy that was, a defensive guy, but he does catch the ball pretty good.
Absolutely.
He's actually running summer track, man. So,
Nice.
he has those dreams and goals. And man, anytime you got your dad to have the key to the athletic facility, we can always get better.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, there's always a talk about Louisiana football and Texas football. You've been a head coach in both states. You've been assistant coach in both states. You've been around a whole bunch of talent. Coach, I won't ask you to choose between Louisiana or Texas. I won't do that. We'll leave that alone. But Coach, would you say that the talent level is on the same level in Louisiana and Texas?
Well, I'll just say this. In the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, man, there's so many people, population-wise. So therefore, you have the opportunity to choose from a better quality of coaches, right? Quantity and quality of coaches at programs. And then also at some of the programs, man, within that Metroplex, right? You have anywhere from a 4A program all the way up to 6A programs. So that's a vast amount of football and sports,
Absolutely.
right? On pretty much 4 to 5 different levels. So obviously, with more people, more kids, then someone could say, well, hey, Texas ball is better than any other place. But yeah, you got 10 times more people. That's just natural statistics.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But yes, I do get asked that question all the time. I will say this, man. Now this is more of a life deal and something that people can kind of put on their mind and think about. I believe, my opinion, the people that are living closest to the Gulf of Mexico have a different mentality about themselves. And I'm talking about all the way from Miami, all the way around, hit I-10, coming all the way around on the coast of Texas. All right. That's what I think. So I'm including Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and south part of Texas. I just think that those people mentality is different. And it goes back generations, because of, I think, involved in what changed our country as far as developing our country as far as slavery. Okay.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I can only say, most times, man, the kids that I've been around coaching wise in Louisiana, they just built different. And I'm not the only person that believe that, you know.
Absolutely.
So again, though, it goes back to they close to that water down there.
Right.
And the mentality is different. Them kids really surviving to get out. And the ones that figure it out that this is my chance to get out, they go and get it. Not it's no knock on the kids in Texas. It's just that it's a different mentality, man.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, over at HL, you did handle the defense. You were the head coach as well, and you handled the defense. I believe it was a 4-2-5 that we ran, correct?
Yeah.
4-2-5. Could you tell us what are some essential parts of that 4-2-5? What type of players do you need in order for that system to be successful? And would you say that is your favorite defensive system to run?
Well, I'll tell you what, Kellen, man, sometimes you only know what you only know, right?
Absolutely.
Back at that time, man, I had been coaching for some time. I was 33 years old, and I was blessed, man, to really coach at St. Augustine High School under the leadership of Coach David Johnson and defensive coordinator Dale Lee and that staff. And I learned a lot of football. Well, my toolbox wasn't as big my first time around, right? I only had certain tools in it. And the 4-2-5 is really all I had. Well, now you fast forward almost 10 years, I've been in the system on the I front system. I've been in the system, 4-3 system, so I think for the 4-2-5, to answer your question, I think you have to have at least, you got to have some D linemen.
Absolutely.
Number one. You got to have some D linemen, some a couple 3 techniques, a couple guys that can play the shade. I think the 5 and the 6, are guys that you can kind of plug in, but if you got that 3 tech and that 1 tech, if you have multiple of those guys that can come in and there's really no fall off, everybody else can fit themselves.
Absolutely.
Now, most of the other places where I've been probably outside of John Eric, we've had I front kids, most of my experience after HL, where we might have 1 or 2 defensive linemen who can play, and everybody else are kind of those tween athletic kids that can run. So therefore, you try to play more of an I front, rather if it's being a stack or if it's being a traditional 3-4. But you give yourself more flexibility when you can get more athletes on the field, and everything's based off of players, man. I tell my coaches all the time, it's players over plays, guys. And that's why I think that's one of the talents that God has blessed me with, is being able to evaluate players and put them in certain positions to be successful. To answer your other question, I'm more of an I front guy because of the multiple ways that you can attack the offense, and we actually played some 3 safety look.
Wow.
At Southwest the last 2 years. A lot of people, Iowa State kind of bases out of it. A lot of defenses have gone to it for package wise. You see it on the college level, but it just gives you an opportunity to get faster guys, more athletic guys on the field.
Right.
The game has evolved, man. If the offense playing basketball on offense, you better be playing basketball on defense too. So you got to find a way to get that speed on the field, is what I believe.
Yes, sir. Now, Coach, you mentioned the 3 safety look, which is, it's unique. I would say. Would you say the same? It's kind of a unique look, the 3 safety look.
I wouldn't say it's unique, man. If you really just kind of look back at it, it's more the 3-3 stack. Some of those principles.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that now, those safeties who most people were playing a true country cover 3 or just cover 1. Now you can get everybody back and you can play a multiplicity of coverages, man.
Right.
So that part of the game has been around. It's just that, people have figured out that you got to get better in the back end.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily that you have to have so many coverages, but you have to get better and be multiple in the secondary aspect of things and get kids back there who can make plays.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, in what situations would, I don't know if you guys run any single high safety or any of that, but I think we ran some of that a little bit at HL, some single high safety, and then I think we had the the duo as well with the double safeties in the back with the more traditional look. Mm-hmm. So, in what situations, Coach, would you say it's better to play with two safeties as opposed to one?
Well, I mean, it's just kind of get into a lesson, strategy. In any time, the offense may have 11 or 12 personnel on the field, or 21 or even 20 sometime, man. Depending on your athletes, the more guys you can get towards the box or dedicated towards the box to stop the run, the better. But obviously it's always based off of, what's happening across from you. So in general terms, I would say, if it's a rundown, then obviously, man, you want to try to commit as many guys to the box. So therefore, you may have a one high safety look. Now the two safety look basically, some people say a two shell. The two safety look just kind of gives you an opportunity to disguise more and give you a little more flexibility. It also allows you to play split field coverage. Where you may want to play a true hard cover 2 or a tamper 2 on one side, and then a quarters on the other side, just as an example. But also in the two safety look, you can also get that +1 committed to the run game, and the offense not knowing where he's going to come from. Absolutely. From one of the secondary guys. So I think that the two shell obviously gives you a whole lot more flexibility, but at the same time, is again, man, it's players over plays.
Absolutely.
So if you got two safeties and neither one of them are really run fitters, then I guess you got to find a way to stay in there. But if you got a couple guys in that back end who like to fit the run, who are aggressive, then you can find ways to insert them into the run game.
Absolutely. And at HL, you used to call it running the alley, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Figuring out on the run, man. And we still do that. Anytime I get to coach the secondary kids, I just try to show them and talk to them about, man, listen, as fast as you can run through that guy's hip, the better.
Absolutely.
Close that distance, because kids are so athletic now, man. You don't want anybody to square up on you. You
right.
mess around and wind up on YouTube.
Right. Now, speaking of the back end, Coach, could you tell us some essential skills physically and mentally that a safety must have in order to be successful?
Well, Kelly, man, I mean, really most times, man, for any kid that's playing football, you always got to be committed to just getting better. I may sound like a head coach now, but if you're not working on your craft, you're failing yourself and your teammates, because you got to believe that other kids all over this world are working to get better, and you may not ever see them, but if you do, you need to be prepared. So from a safety and even DB point of view, I'm always looking for kids who are interested in getting better, both physically and mentally. Like, Coach, man, can you, when kids ask me questions about the game, that lets me know that they're really interested.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, from a watching film perspective, trying to teach kids how to pick up on tendencies. So, specifically for safeties, I look for someone that's cerebral. How do you determine if they're cerebral? Well, I mean, it's when you get them and you get them out on the field and you have them talking to you and see if they can communicate checks, see if they can communicate coverages. And then from there, you just watch how they process things. You see, you look for their instincts as far as running the alley, breaking on the ball. And then you have them talk to you about what they saw, and how they processed it. I also think that you have to be a confident communicator at safety, because most times you're like the quarterback of the defense. Okay. I won't say that much that size matters. I mean, I've coached guys, man, who were 5'7" all the way to guys that were 6'2" and 6'3", 6'4". But if they have some range, that's always good, right? If it's being center field range, or if it's guys that can go from hash to sideline, that's good. And when I talk about range, man, just being able to anticipate and break on the quarterback's shoulders, and when that quarterback, pass that ball and releases his hands and separate, being able to point that toe and get going, and break on that football. And I think finally, from a safety, man, if you got someone that can be physical, and I'm gonna use something that I watched last night with Ryan Clark
Mm-hmm.
and the guy Rowe, who's the Rhodes Scholar, man. When you get there and you running that alley or you making those hits, you trying to put your face in the fan, man.
Absolutely.
You look for guys like that because we're at that position. So you can get them hits, and it always don't have to be what a receiver's not, what a receiver don't see you. It can be fitting a run.
Right.
You just have to be able to figure it out and go full speed and be able to put your fan in the face when you get there.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, we see Tyrion Matthew recently signed a contract with the Saints. I'm pretty sure we all happy about that. Guy from New Orleans who's being able to come back and then contribute on a professional level to his hometown team. That's great. Coach, you did mention that you coached at St. Aug. Did you coach Tyrion at St. Aug?
Yes, man. I came in and it was Tyron's senior season. I actually was moving from Texas to St. Augustine High School to join Coach David Johnson's staff. And a quick story, I had Cam in the springtime, like around this time, to just check out practice and, interview. And, man, I saw that dude make a play in practice. And I was like, man, who is that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then when we got down there in the summer, about early to mid-July, as soon as we got down, we went to LSU 7-on-7. Now, Coach Dale Lee and Coach Johnson had been telling me that, hey, man, this guy's, he getting some notoriety, but not a lot of big notoriety. Everybody's talking about his size and his speed. So I remember seeing him in that practice. And then we went to LSU. And that's why I always tell kids, and I don't know if you remember this, man, you never know who's watching.
Absolutely.
And when you get a chance to make plays, you got to make them.
You do.
So this dude went from, I don't know how many stars he had. I just know he was a football player, one of the top 3 I've ever seen. This dude went from in one day not having no offers from LSU to nobody really following us, to us winning the 7-on-7. This man getting another invite to come to camp the next day, and him earning a scholarship that changed his life and his family life for the rest of their life. So that experience was awesome, man. And then, seeing him compete during the season, the guy has a gifted coach and mentor, Coach Dale Lee, taught him a lot still in his life. The kid was a technician. At the end of the day, man, the dude's a football player. Absolutely. Offense, defense, special teams, the same things that he did at LSU and the same things he's doing in the NFL. I seen him do at St. Aug. That was just for 1 year.
Absolutely.
The dude was an animal, man. So, but what people just need to better understand is, at 2600 AP2 row, it's a lot of talented people that have come through there. They're gonna continue to go through there. And we were blessed, man, the 3 years we were there, to really just be a part of some kids' lives, some guys that have their own businesses, the guys that are Pro Bowlers, the guys that signed all kind of scholarships. Man, it was just a great experience, man, being able to be a part of that for those kids in that community.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, we also know that the Saints have added Marcus Maye as well. With those two guys, you see them being very interchangeable. Where do you see Tyrion? What role do you see Tyrion playing in that Saints defense? Just in your opinion, what role do you see him playing?
Well, I mean, just obviously, man, from a fan point of view, and obviously not knowing how they're going to use him, but I mean, the guy is still a top-notch football player. I think that him being in Arizona, those guys found a way to allow him to be flexible, right? I think he may be penciled in as a safety nowadays. But man, if I'm Dennis Allen and that coaching staff, I'm just finding a way to put that guy in position to make plays. Right, if it's blitzing the quarterback or inserting himself in the run game. or finding a way to play out in the slot sometimes. And then obviously, man, being able to play in the deep back end at safety, he still has those great instincts, and he still has the ball skills, and he's a cerebral player.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably, along with his God-given talent, that's probably what has allowed him to stick in the league and be successful, is because he's a cerebral player, man. He's a smart kid. He's smart young man. He's not a kid anymore. He's a smart young man, and he definitely is the epitome of working on his craft.
Absolutely.
So I think that it's good for him, man. I also saw that they signed Jarvis Landry. Man, that's great for the organization, for our city, just kind of rebounding.
Right.
But man, look, anytime things are going good with the Saints, that Southern Louisiana region is going good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. Our coach, I say the best question for last. I would like you to take us back to 2014, 2015, my senior year of high school, against the game against Ellender. I remember we were supposed to play that game on a Friday. Something happened. We ended up having to move it in the heat of the day on a Saturday afternoon. So could you just tell us a little bit about what you remember that game, Coach? Correct me if I'm wrong. We were down, I want to say 3 touchdowns headed into the fourth quarter.
Man, some memories I have about that game, and I was trying to figure out, like, man, why were we playing at 11 o'clock on a Saturday?
Right.
Right? And then when I kind of looked at a couple of pictures, I was like, man, how's my son on the sideline? Because my family, I was driving from New Orleans every day.
You're right. Right.
So I think what happened was the field wasn't good at Terrebonne because they had like a big storm or something. I don't know if they have turf now, but they have it then. Right. So we had to wind up playing at South Terrebonne the next day. And it was one of them deals, man, where everybody showed up. You guys were ready. I think that I know y'all had put in the work in the off season, man. And we actually won that game, and that was the first time HL had won a game in like 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So for everybody that was a part of that, first of all, man, that's big,
Absolutely.
And then, yes, we were down. I even looked at some more pictures. Whitney had on a different number jersey to end the game. I remember Todd having to go in and have to play linebacker.
Right.
At the end of the game to hold those guys. And I want to say he might have made a play to finish it off.
Oh, yeah.
I remember during the game, Caleb was our best lineman. He's now into strength and conditioning, man. I took him out and gave him some choice words because he had made a dumb penalty. But I also remember Brent, and I used this during special teams, Brent blocking an extra point or a field goal.
Uh-huh.
To kind of gain us some momentum. But man, that was my first win as a head coach. So yeah, that was my first win as a head coach, man. So, it was special. It was just that was just some good times down there, man. It was a from a win-loss, it wasn't the best season for us, but the growth of that program.
Absolutely.
With guys like yourself coming in and setting the tone and expectation, bringing a different little flavor. And us having, some other guys. We got a couple of basketball guys to come in and really play.
Right.
Deshaun Walker played quarterback. The LeCompte brothers stepped up. You know what I'm saying? And playing with Todd and Whitney. What we did during that season, man, was awesome. Even though the win-loss wasn't there, but we beat both of the local teams.
Right.
We beat Terrebonne at the end.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a game too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it was good though, man. I mean, I remember those days, man. Every now and then I'm able to look back at those digital photos, man, and just have those memories. I won't say I wish, but man, if I could have stayed at HL one more year, I think that we would have been able to do something legendary. And that's what I'm trying to get these guys to understand, man, out here in Southwest, man. You guys bought into what we were trying to do. Man, we had guys, we set up buses to pick up guys all the way in Gibson. guys coming from the Schliever area at the meat market. You know what I'm saying? And you guys have figured out, man, and look, coach want us to work hard during this time frame. We're gonna have some fun, and we're just gonna go out and get it, man. And that's what I'm trying to get these guys to understand, man. But again, it's just a little different flavor down there on that bayou,
Right, absolutely. And coach, I said this was the last question, but coach, I got one more. Special teams, coach. You have the best special teams I have seen, and I done played in college, throughout high school, at the different high schools I done played at, all of that. Coach, your special teams is second to none. Where did your imagination for special teams, and I say imagination because you remember to play the Red Six?
Yeah.
And people don't understand how deadly that play was. It was a fake punt play, of course, with the end guy on a line of scrimmage. He would just come right off the line. Boom, that was a little pass, and it would get people every time. They would prepare for it, and they still wouldn't be able to stop it. So, coach, if you don't mind, just give us a little insight on your mind for special teams as well.
Well, look, I'll tell you this, and hopefully none of our opponents watch this, but I'm gonna share this with my kids. They're gonna be like, "Dang, coach, you was running that back then?" Yeah, man. And I use y'all as teach tape, with Jude taking off, we was in 4x1 against Saint Amant.
Absolutely.
And Jude running that, you know what I'm saying? So some of those things are still incorporated in our program, Kellen. But look, man, as a head coach, I understood. Huh?
Sorry about that, coach. I'm not trying to give your game plan away.
Nah, man, we ain't tripping.
All right.
We ain't tripping. As a head coach, man, I understood from the guys that I was around, like the Frank Wilsons and, the guys like Coach Dave Johnson, those guys had taught me, man, that look, 3 phases of the game, they're very important. So as a head coach, and even now I'm the special teams coordinator, I'm going to make sure that special teams are legit because I know that not every program values that 3rd phase.
Mm-hmm.
So again, man, my toolbox has expanded. The New Orleans Saints used to do something during that time that I was there, and they used to invite high school coaches and college coaches from around the nation to this clinic. So I used to go to that.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I learned a lot. I still look at those fundamentals. I just, talked to a guy at Grand Valley State in Michigan about his punt team, and we've implemented that, and that's the only special team we're doing right now, doing our little short spring mini camp. We work punt 2 or 3 times a week, depending on when we get the kids. But to answer your question about the imagination, here's what I know. You got 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, right, playing.
Mm.
Not too many kids buying the special teams either.
Right.
Now, they coach to prep them, and, I really take time and pride myself on preparation for special teams, sending our kids voiceovers, sending them still shots, pictures, me talking about the pictures, sending them short videos, and I'm talking about it and us practicing it and giving them all kind of, not all kind of, but very intentional and specific charts that we look at from a special teams point of view. But from imagination wise, man, I just know this. If it's something they ain't never seen, I'm getting in it.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna make them teenagers figure out who's eligible and who's not.
Right.
So, but at the same time, that's something that we have to defend too. You know what I'm saying? So for me, you come now practice, you're gonna hear me say everybody point to the people that's eligible when we on punt return.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the only guy. I ain't make that stuff up. I just borrowed it from other people and tweaked it,
Gotcha.
And got y'all and just getting kids to believe in it, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it's about. It's just getting kids to buy in and understand that all 3 phases of the game are very important.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure having you on Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk. Could you share your social media outlets with us? I don't know if you have Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff.
Sure, man. most times I don't really comment too much on Twitter unless it's kind of putting, that brand out, that SEC.
Right.
But my Twitter is at Coach_D Frank.
Yes, sir.
And that's my Instagram handle too.
Yes, sir.
I'm still learning about the Instagram. Every now and then I'll put something out on there, but I'm a little bit more familiar with the Twitter deal, man. Just kind of use Twitter to continue to learn ball, make those relationships, and also to just kind of expose our kids and promote that SEC brand and what we're doing on the boulevard out there on 4100 Alta Mesa Boulevard in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, sir. From the reservation to the boulevard, huh, Coach?
Yeah, man. Just, Coach, like I say, man, Kellen, just trying to find a way, man, to put that play on words.
Absolutely.
And get them kids excited and just kind of build that pride, man. That's what it's about.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, as I was saying, it's been a pleasure, being able to catch up with you, having you on Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk. Coach, it's been a pleasure. We really appreciate it.
Man, Kellen, man, look, I want you to make sure you understand, man, how proud of you I am. Anytime you can get with former players, it's always good, man. See you continue to be successful. Hopefully, man, you're using some of those values that were taught to you. I know your mom and your dad had influence on you also, man. You have different experiences from Oklahoma all the way down to Gibson, Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But, man, I'm really proud of you, man. I appreciate you allowing me to be a guest on your show.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach. And with that being said, this will conclude this segment of Diamond in the Rough Sports Talk. Thank you.
All right. Y'all have a good one.